Today, we'll debate, does social media hinder democratic processes? With Tobias, a digital skeptic, and Margot, a technophilic optimist. They're two artificial intelligence personas. Please introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Tobias, a former political science professor who has transitioned into researching digital ethics. My academic journey has always revolved around understanding the impact of media on politics, and with the inexorable rise of social media, my focus has shifted toward its implications for democracy. In our increasingly digital society, I am concerned about how unregulated social media platforms can potentially hinder democratic processes. My worldview emphasizes the need for a cautious approach to technology, one that ensures our foundational democratic principles aren't eroded by unchecked misinformation, polarization, and manipulation. I advocate for robust reforms and accountability frameworks to protect the integrity of our democratic institutions. It's crucial that we recognize and address the challenges posed by social media to secure trust and reliability in our civic systems. In this debate, I look forward to discussing these critical issues and exploring how we can harness the potential of technology while safeguarding democracy.
Hello, I'm Margot, a tech entrepreneur and digital innovation advocate with a background in computer science. Throughout my career, I have collaborated with startups focused on using technology as a force for social good, and I've seen firsthand how transformative it can be. I believe that social media, when leveraged responsibly, is a powerful democratizing tool that enhances our democratic processes. It empowers individuals by providing them with a platform to express their views, fosters greater participation, and amplifies marginalized voices that might otherwise go unheard. My worldview centers around the potential of technology to create positive change and drive transparency. While I acknowledge the challenges posed by social media, I am confident that these can be addressed through targeted regulation and improved digital literacy. In this debate, I aim to highlight the ways in which social media can serve as a catalyst for social progress and democratic engagement. I look forward to discussing how we can continue to optimize these platforms for the greater good.
Thank you, guys. Tobias and Margot will now present their 3 rounds of arguments.
Certainly, while my position may often emphasize the challenges that social media presents to democratic processes, it's important to acknowledge that these platforms also have the potential to serve as vehicles for positive change, if approached with the right level of oversight and reform. At its core, social media can increase visibility and engagement. It allows a broader swath of voices to join the political conversation, including those from marginalized or underrepresented communities. This increased participation can foster a more inclusive discussion, offering diverse perspectives that enrich our democratic discourse. Furthermore, social media has proven instrumental during social movements, empowering grassroots campaigns and offering new tools for civic engagement. Consider how rapidly social justice movements have mobilized supporters and spread awareness on critical issues through online platforms. To harness these positive aspects, it's crucial that we implement measures ensuring these benefits are not overshadowed by the spread of misinformation and harmful content. By instituting accountability measures and promoting digital literacy, we can protect democratic integrity while encouraging the constructive use of social media. This balanced approach can chart a path for social media to support rather than hinder democratic processes.
While my perspective largely celebrates social media as a tool for democratic engagement, I recognize that there are legitimate concerns that need to be addressed. One significant challenge is the spread of misinformation, which can distort public understanding and diminish informed decision-making. In today's fast-paced digital age, false information can quickly gain traction, leading to confusion and polarizing communities. Additionally, the algorithms that drive social media platforms often create echo chambers, where users are primarily exposed to viewpoints similar to their own. This can deepen societal divides and hinder constructive dialogue by reinforcing existing biases rather than encouraging open-minded discourse. It's crucial for democratic societies to facilitate conversations across diverse perspectives, and social media, if not carefully managed, can impede this process. Moreover, issues of privacy and data exploitation on these platforms raise concerns about surveillance and manipulation, potentially undermining trust in democratic institutions. To mitigate these negatives, I advocate for more transparent algorithms, comprehensive fact-checking, and stringent data privacy measures. Addressing these issues head-on will allow us to harness the positive power of social media, while curbing its potential to hinder democratic processes.
Thank you, Margot, for highlighting these critical issues. Building on that, I'd like to delve deeper into the implications of misinformation and algorithms that contribute to echo chambers. These are not just minor hurdles but are profound challenges that threaten the integrity of democratic processes. Firstly, misinformation isn't simply a byproduct of vast information flows, it is often strategically disseminated to manipulate public opinion and disrupt democratic functions. The sheer scale and speed at which false information spreads online complicates efforts to maintain an informed electorate, which is a cornerstone of any functioning democracy. Secondly, echo chambers and filter bubbles don't merely limit exposure to diverse opinions, they can exacerbate polarization by creating environments where extreme views become normalized as users interact primarily with like-minded individuals. This polarization is further heightened by algorithms driven by engagement rather than accuracy or balance. While I appreciate Margot's call for transparency and regulation, these solutions themselves raise questions about feasibility and enforcement. The global reach of social media platforms means that regulation needs to be consistent across different jurisdictions, a task fraught with complexity. Furthermore, the issue of data privacy and manipulation poses existential concerns. Social media's business model relies on user data, and without fundamental changes to this model, achieving genuine privacy and trust seems unlikely. As such, I argue that until these core issues are comprehensively addressed, social media remains a significant hindrance to the democratic process.
Thank you, Tobias, for articulating these concerns. While I acknowledge the seriousness of misinformation and polarization, I'd like to focus on how these challenges can be transformed into opportunities for enhancing democratic engagement through innovative solutions. Firstly, misinformation indeed poses a threat, but it also spurs an opportunity for empowerment through education. By enhancing digital literacy across the population, we can equip individuals with the skills to critically assess information and discern credible sources. Social media platforms can partner with educational institutions to amplify these efforts, making informed citizenship a shared responsibility. Regarding echo chambers and algorithmic biases, while challenging, they are also technically surmountable. Platforms can prioritize developing algorithms that diversify content exposure and foster dialogue across differing viewpoints. User-driven platforms are increasingly investing in technologies that promote balanced content consumption rather than engagement maximization. To address the complexity of global regulation, a collaborative approach involving governments, tech companies, and civil society can lead to adaptive frameworks that respect local contexts while maintaining overarching standards for transparency and accountability. Thus, while significant, these issues can be opportunities for enhancing democracy if tackled proactively and collaboratively. Through responsible innovation and partnerships, social media can continue to evolve as a facilitator of democracy rather than an impediment. This dynamic interplay between challenge and opportunity is what inspires my optimism about the role of social media in our democratic future.
Thank you, Margot, for your optimistic vision, which admittedly makes my inner skeptic sweat a little less. However, while the notion of turning challenges into opportunities sounds fantastic in a TED Talk, I'd argue the reality is a bit messier, like trying to herd cats while juggling chainsaws. But let's see where your optimism meets the road. First, while digital literacy is indeed essential, it's akin to teaching people to swim in a shark tank when we should be focusing on getting the sharks out in the first place. Social media platforms promising to educate users while grappling with their own misinformation crises feels like the fox teaching hens about fort building. On algorithm adjustments to diversify viewpoints, I commend the thought, but as long as platforms thrive on engagement-driven revenue, asking them to prioritize diversity is like asking a dog to babysit a steak. It's just not in their nature. And if I may cheekily add, it's easier to confuse cats with cucumbers than to confuse these algorithms out of their biased tendencies. Lastly, the concept of global collaboration sounds promising, but the complexities resemble planning a neighborhood barbecue where everyone's invited and nobody agrees on the sauce. I'm not saying it's impossible, just dauntingly complex. To wrap up, Margot, your vision is noble, yet it risks oversimplifying these nuanced challenges. While optimism is crucial, relying solely on it without addressing ingrained systemic issues is like betting on a one-legged horse hoping for a Kentucky Derby win. We need practical and enforceable measures to truly make social media a trusty companion in our democratic journey.
Thank you, Tobias, for your illuminating insights. It's clear that you've done a deep dive into these issues, probably with a scuba kit to match my rose-colored glasses. However, let's not sink the ship before it has a chance to sail. Here's why I think there's still wind in our democratic sails. Firstly, while the idea of social media teaching digital literacy may sound like cats discussing veganism, we're already seeing success stories when platforms partner with educators and civic groups. After all, even foxes can learn math if the chickens hold a seminar. Regarding diversified algorithms, I agree it's a monumental task, akin to teaching my golden retriever tax law. But technology has proved doubters wrong before. A step-by-step approach can yield significant results, and we've already seen promising strides with platforms experimenting with diverse content delivery. Now, I understand your skepticism around global regulation, a challenge reminiscent of organizing a choir of squirrels. Yet, history shows that international consensus can be reached, even on complex issues like climate change. A piecemeal approach could build solutions that respect diversity and foster collaboration. To sum up, Tobias, while it may seem I'm flying with enthusiasm on feathered wings, these challenges are not insurmountable. Social media doesn't have to be democracy's Achilles heel. With strategic effort and a dash of optimism, it can be an ally in shaping a better democratic future. So, what do you say? Let's put our money where the algorithms are, if not as cozy friends, then at least as spirited debaters in the quest for truth.
Thank you for your speeches. Someone from the audience will now make a question to Tobias and Margot.
Hello, my name is Emily, and I'm a sociology student with a keen interest in the intersection of technology and society. I've been following this debate closely, and it's been quite enlightening. Both Margot and Tobias have offered compelling perspectives on social media's impact on democracy. However, one aspect that wasn't directly addressed, particularly in Tobias's arguments, is the role of anonymity on social media platforms. Anonymity can offer protection for dissidents in oppressive regimes, which could theoretically support democracy, but it can also facilitate harmful behavior, like trolling or spreading hate speech. Tobias, could you elaborate on whether anonymity should be reassessed within these platforms, and how it might affect the democratic processes you discussed? Thank you.
Thank you, Emily, for highlighting this important aspect of anonymity on social media platforms. It's a topic with significant nuances and impacts on democratic processes that indeed warrants attention. Anonymity can be a double-edged sword in the digital realm. On the positive side, it provides a vital shield for individuals in oppressive regimes, allowing them to express dissent without fear of repercussion. This contribution to freedom of speech and the democratization of ideas underpins one of social media's most laudable roles. However, on the flip side, as you mentioned, anonymity can also facilitate malicious behavior, like trolling, spreading hate speech, or executing coordinated misinformation campaigns. These actions can erode healthy civic discourse and destabilize democratic values by creating a toxic online environment or harming individuals' real-world participation. Managing anonymity without stifling freedom of expression is indeed a tightrope walk. One approach could be platform-specific regulations that balance user anonymity with accountability measures, perhaps through verified identities behind the scenes, accessible when harmful activity is flagged, akin to how certain anonymous forums operate responsibly. Moreover, efforts to strengthen platform moderation with improved algorithms and human oversight can help mitigate the negative aspects of anonymity while preserving its protective aspects. In conclusion, re-evaluating anonymity on social media requires a nuanced approach that carefully considers the value of protecting free expression against the need to maintain a respectful and secure digital public square. It's a delicate balance, one that calls for inclusive dialogue and innovative regulatory frameworks.
Certainly, a point that wasn't fully explored in Margot's arguments is the impact of social media on political advertising and campaign financing. Social media platforms have transformed how political campaigns are run, often allowing for targeted advertising that can specifically influence voter behavior. Margot, how do you view the role of social media in political advertising from a democratic standpoint? Specifically, what safeguards do you believe are necessary to ensure that this tool is used ethically and in a way that supports fair democratic processes without inadvertently skewing the playing field or allowing undue influence from powerful interest groups? Thank you.
Thank you for bringing up this crucial aspect, Emily. Political advertising on social media is indeed a game changer for campaigns, offering unprecedented precision in reaching targeted audiences. This capability can enhance democratic engagement by allowing candidates to better connect with constituents who share their values and concerns, nurturing more personalized political discourse. However, this targeted nature of advertising also brings significant ethical concerns. It opens up the potential for micro-targeting, where tailored messages, sometimes containing misleading information, can catalyze echo chambers and reinforce existing biases. Additionally, there's the risk of political campaigns being disproportionately influenced by entities with greater financial resources, thus skewing democratic fairness. To ensure these tools support ethical, democratic processes, several safeguards could be implemented. 1. Transparency ***. Social media platforms need to require clear labeling of political ads, including who funded them, the amount spent, and the demographic targeting criteria used. This transparency would allow users to critically evaluate the intent behind the ads they see. 2. Ad library ***. Maintaining public repositories of ads would allow for greater scrutiny by scholars, journalists, and watchdog organizations to track and analyze political messaging trends and their impacts. 3. Regulation and oversight ***. Establishing regulatory standards for online political advertising similar to those governing traditional media can help level the playing field. This could include spending limits or restrictions on certain types of targeted messaging. 4. Algorithm audits ***. Conducting regular and transparent audits of the algorithms that determine ad placement can help ensure they are not unduly influencing political discourse by favoring certain types of content through engagement enhancement metrics. In essence, while political advertising on social media holds promise for enhancing democratic engagement, careful regulation and transparency are key to ensuring it serves to inform rather than manipulate the electorate. Balancing innovation with ethical practices will be pivotal in reshaping social media into a constructive force in democratic processes.
The debaters now have a minute to talk about something they regret not bringing up to the discussion.
Reflecting on our lively discussion, one significant topic I regret not bringing up is the impact of social media's rapid news cycle on public policy and the legislative process. In the digital age, the lightning-fast dissemination of information can shape public opinion and policy discourse almost instantaneously. While this immediacy can spotlight urgent issues, it can also lead to hasty decision-making based on incomplete or superficial understanding. This speed can pressure policymakers to react quickly, oftentimes prioritizing what's trending over what might be substantively important. Viral moments do not always capture the nuance required for sound policy formulation and can sometimes lead to reactionary policies that don't account for long-term consequences. Furthermore, the emphasis on quick, snappy content can lead to the oversimplification of complex issues, reducing them to headlines or clickbait, which in turn influences public perception and debate. In a healthy democracy, deliberation and comprehensive analysis should guide policymaking, but the current social media-driven environment can detract from these necessary processes. Going forward, it's crucial for us to recognize this impact and find ways to ensure that the depth and rigor of democratic decision-making aren't sacrificed at the altar of immediacy. Engaging citizens in deeper policy discussions, encouraging media literacy, and supporting journalism that prioritizes investigation over sensationalism could help balance the scales. Social media can certainly contribute to informed societies, but we need to be mindful that speed doesn't overshadow substance in shaping democratic governance.
Looking back on our discussion, one area I regret not highlighting more is the role of social media in fostering international collaboration and cross-border democratic movements. While we focused a lot on how these platforms affect national democratic processes, it's worth recognizing their potential as catalysts for global solidarity and shared democratic ideals. Social media platforms have the unique ability to connect individuals across the world instantaneously, allowing them to share ideas, strategies, and support. This connectivity can unite people in common causes, transcending geographical and cultural barriers. We've seen examples of this in global movements for climate action, human rights, and social justice, where people from diverse backgrounds come together to advocate for change on a global scale. Moreover, social media can serve as a valuable tool for citizens in repressive regimes, not only as a means of organizing domestically but also in drawing international attention to their struggles. Global visibility can generate external support and put pressure on oppressive governments, underscoring the interconnected nature of modern democracies. However, this international dimension also requires us to consider how platform policies apply across different contexts, ensuring they protect users while respecting local nuances. In this regard, fostering international cooperation between governments and tech companies to establish adaptable, yet consistent standards could enhance social media's positive impact globally. In summary, while we've had a robust discussion on social media's national implications, its capacity to facilitate global dialogue and democratic activism is equally important. Recognizing this potential helps paint a more comprehensive picture of how these platforms can contribute to our shared democratic future.
Thank you, folks. Let's go over to our judges. As the judge of this debate, I will evaluate the participants based on 3 key metrics commonly used in formal debates: argumentation, rebuttal, and clarity and engagement. Each participant will receive a score from 1 to 10 in each category, reflecting their performance throughout the debate. Tobias's scores: 1. Argumentation, 9 out of 10. Tobias presented well-researched and coherent arguments that centered on the challenges posed by social media to democratic processes. His emphasis on misinformation, polarization, and the need for accountability was articulated with clarity and supported by real-world examples, showcasing his depth of understanding. 2. Rebuttal, 8 out of 10. Tobias effectively addressed and countered Margot's points with a balance of skepticism and wit. His humorous jabs added flair, while his logical deconstruction of key optimism points highlighted potential oversights. However, there was a slight missed opportunity in not tackling the potential of global connectivity earlier, which impacted the thoroughness of his rebuttals. 3. Clarity and engagement, 9 out of 10. Tobias engaged the audience with his articulate communication style and used humor adeptly without detracting from the seriousness of the issues. His arguments were clear and easy to follow, keeping the audience invested in his perspective. Margot's scores: 1. Argumentation, 8 out of 10. Margot offered an optimistic and forward-thinking narrative about social media's potential to enhance democracy. Her focus on education, regulation, and collaboration was compelling, though occasionally idealistic without delving deeply into potential practical hurdles. 2. Rebuttal, 9 out of 10. Margot responded to Tobias's concerns with impressive agility, reframing challenges as opportunities and addressing skepticism with plausible solutions. Her use of humor helped diffuse tension and underscore her points, although there were moments where deeper exploration of practical implementations could have strengthened her case. 3. Clarity and engagement, 9 out of 10. Margot's communication was vibrant and engaging. Her enthusiasm and passion were evident, which drew the audience in. Her ability to succinctly present her ideas while acknowledging complexities allowed for a dynamic interaction with the audience. Overall, both debaters demonstrated strong argumentative skills and adept engagement tactics, making for an insightful and thought-provoking debate. Their performances reflected a balanced dialogue of optimism and caution, essential to the nuanced discussion around social media and democracy. What are your opinions about the debate? What would you like to see AI's debate next? Keep questioning.